Hey everybody, Roxabox90 here. I know it's been a little while, but I am back. I had a couple of problems. One was that I was sick. I had flu/allergies and I'm getting over it, but during the last week or two I really could not record properly. And I also couldn't record properly because even when my voice was somewhat intact, my microphone wasn't working properly. As you've probably noticed the last few videos, I've had weird staticky problems with the mic. It's a few years old. It was not an expensive microphone. So I decided to ditch it and get a new one. And now that's what I'm using now. Hopefully it's coming through nice and crystal clear without any real major feedback or anything. But let me know what you're hearing down below because that will help me adjust this new mic and see how it works. So that is on me. I'm also working on some videos that's been in the process. Just so you're aware, I have a speculation video that I'm really trying to crank out for this week because I know we have game day coming up and Shadows of Innistrad just hit, and there's a lot of stuff from the from professional play that's impacting card prices. So I want to give you guys a little bit of a sense of how I'm viewing it because, hey, it's interesting. I'm also working on top 10 commander cards for Shadows of Innistrad. I know I was supposed to do that a little while ago, but life. So we're working on that as well, and of course I'll just try to be more up to date with everything. So let's quickly get up to date on some of the big events that have been going on. There's been a lot of them recently. The first is Enter the Battlefield. Wizards put together a pseudo documentary for pro players, or of pro players in the Pro Tour, giving players a sense of what it's like for a lot of pros such as Reed Duke and Shahar Shenar and Melissa DeTora, and how they view and think of the Pro Tour and their life in Magic. And it gives you, if you think about any other athletic sport, football, baseball, basketball, etc., all of them have professional, a lot of focus on the professional players and a lot of focus on their lives and what they do and who they are and whatever it is, because Magic is a much smaller game. It's never quite been about that. There's never been quite as much coverage overall. A lot of the coverage has been more about the gameplay, less about the players, even though of course there's at least some of it. But this is the first real, hey guys, let's focus on the environment, the players, what's the whole experience like, and really get into dig into the minds of these players and how they view it. And many of them have different opinions and different thoughts about things, which is really cool. So I definitely recommend checking it out. I'll link it down below. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Also, couple of PR things. This is interesting because Wizards has been doing a lot of stuff over the last week or two in terms of announcements that come somewhat out of the blue and then are met with not necessarily the response that Wizards corporate was probably thinking. So the first one was for Premier Play updates. So what they wanted to do is that over the next couple of years they wanted to adjust the seasons in terms of when the dates are going to be for the Pro Tours and the World Magic Cup over the next while. They also wanted to discuss some changes in terms of appearance fees. Now, appearance fees is much in the same way as any other form of sponsorship for people who represent companies, in that you go to an event, you're representing them, you're doing something for them, and you get a fee as a result, which for pro players, that's what they do for Wizards. If you have famous pro players, such as the Hall of Famers, who go to your Pro Tour, people congregate. People want to see the pros. People want to see players that are proven and are well known, etc., etc. It makes perfect sense to want to have a small fee to have them travel all the way to compete and play in your events. Makes a lot of sense. But Wizards seems to be, in this initial article, it seems to be kind of confused because they said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to adjust fees, and Hall of Famers are only going to get $1,500 if they compete in a Pro Tour that features the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which is it's not all the Pro Tours. It's fewer of the Pro Tours, whereas previously they'd given for all of them. So in other words, hey, Hall of Famers, if you guys want to get your appearance fee to, you know, assist with life and with traveling to our events and so on to compete, well, you can only do it, it's only worth your while maybe if you have a Hall of Fame induction ceremony at the same event. So penalizing Hall of Famers, not a great idea. Step one. Step two is they want to do that for Platinum Pros. They wanted to lower their appearance fees significantly across pretty much every major event. Pro Tours, World Magic Cup, World Magic Pro Cup qualifier. They want to take all those dollars and shrink it down to $250 for each. Kind of crazy. Why are they saying they're doing this? Well, they're saying they're doing it because the appearance fees they awarded were meant to assist with their lifestyle. In other words, assist with them being able to live and to be able to be involved in Magic. But guess what? We believe the program is not succeeding at those goals, and I made the decision to decrease the fees. This is classic speak for we want to cut dollars, we want to cut budgets and cut expenses, and we're going to do that by trimming the fat, so to speak. And how do you do that? Well, penalize the players who effectively represent the game and draw the big crowds to your events. That makes a lot of sense. So not such a fan of that. It seems from the second part of the article, so this I think is just corporate nonsense. But I think that if what they're saying here is the case where they want to increase the prize pools a lot, in this case they want a prize pool to go to $250,000, and then for the next they want it to be $500,000 in 2017 with a $100,000 first place prize, seems pretty big and pretty good. I mean, if a player wins 100 grand straight up, I mean that's pretty awesome. It more or less takes care of at least bare bones lifestyle for a year. Which allows them to develop their skills and continue to push themselves in Magic and so on. So it really is a way of encouraging players to really push and fight for the higher positions. Even the lower positions will have more money. So if that's the real reason they want to trim the dollars, then that at least makes sense to me. Otherwise, I just think it's spitting in the face of your player base, which is more or less what they agreed with on with another article that came out where they said, "Whoops, sorry guys, we realized we didn't actually talk to anyone who mattered. We didn't talk to enough pro players. We didn't talk to the community, and guess what? They hated what our corporate top-down nonsense that we came out with. So we're going to change what we said. We're very sorry because I don't know how this has been ongoing, where Wizards has done this so many times. I don't understand how this is new to them, that they get feedback from the player base after they try to implement a crazy policy. I don't understand why they don't just do a proper focus group or proper market research before they spring something on the player base. I don't really get it. For a company like Wizards that is supposed to be really well tuned in with their audience, because their audience is very vocal and very involved, unlike many other products and many other companies, you'd think that they would be a little bit more careful with big changes. Just saying. But what they're going to do is they're going to try to make it up by saying, we're not going to change stuff, don't worry about it. We're not going to change the appearance fees really for the 2016-2017 season. It may change a little bit later, but maybe, we'll see. And we're still going to keep the increase that we promised for this year in 2016. So there still will be an increase despite that, and they're going to reassess after Pro Tour Eldritch Moon in August what's going to go on. And we care deeply and we listen to our community. Well, yeah, you listen after the fact. That's the problem. If you listen before the fact, then these kind of things might not happen. That's just my take on the whole thing. I think it's corporate, step forward without looking where you're going, and then realize, oh my gosh, I stepped in this massive puddle. Maybe I should step back and reassess the terrain. And this could easily be avoided if Wizards was a little bit more thoughtful. This is not the first time it's happened at all. Q in point, the Modern Pro Tour, they decided to cancel it in 2017. There will be no Modern Pro Tour in 2017. They did this in 2015 without checking anything, and people freaked out, and they had to walk back those words again. It's not the same as taking a risk. We're just not being in touch with the community to see their general thoughts and reaction. So in this case, now they saw the reaction, they tested some things, and now they see that the Modern Pro Tour is not doing what they want, which is they want to make money, and Wizards making money and means they have to have much more focus on standard environments where packs are open and where drafts are happening and where standard is being cracked and focused on, because that's where Wizards makes the bulk of their money, not from constructed environments like Legacy and Vintage and now Modern, where constructed decks kind of take the cake and many of the cards are not in rotation, not being printed in packs, and so Wizards not really making the kind of money that they care about. So it makes sense why they would be pulling back from Modern. They just really have to support localized events more if they want this to not have the same backlash. But as a player who's seen things like the Eldrazi dominance take over so quickly, and then Wizards have to immediately ban things and mess over people who've invested in the decks, and then things like Birthing Pod, which completely shut down certain archetypes and undermined a lot of the player's development. And then, you know, it's like a recurring thing of they ban something really huge, penalize and hurt a lot of players, and then within a few months another crazy thing takes the lead and takes place. And I think Wizards is trying to make Modern a little bit more of a localized environment, a little slower to change, a little slower to have price spurts and to freak people out. And I kind of see where they're coming from on that. But that is these are just all certain things that if Wizards I hope they're learning their lesson. Just take steps to figure out these kind of things ahead of time. It's not always going to work, but at least reach out, show that you're involved and that you want the community's feedback before you implement things. Okay, that's my little rant. A couple other little things. We have 2 promos. We have a Sylvan Scrying promo, the first Sylvan Scrying that has an actual scrying of sorts on it. So cool job, Wizards. I like the art, even though it's a little bit digitized. And then we have, it's a very playable, fun card. We also have Spatial Contortion, a nice card for non-red decks in, say, Modern. It's a very powerful removal, assuming you have waste functionality, but it's a rather good removal against things like Infect and decks that are very, very quick on the aggro. I like that they are trying to make cards that are not just boring, stupid, standard, useless cards, so it's nice that they're at least trying for things that are multi-format. Very cool. So those are all my thoughts. I know this video is a little bit long. I want to catch up with you guys and get ahead of the news and get ahead of what's going on. Let me know what you guys think about all these events going on, and I will be now, as you hear, I'll be back and I will be having more videos coming out shortly, so stay tuned for those. And if you have any other additional comments, oh, and before I forget, last thing, we are approaching 15,000 subs. If you guys haven't seen already, I think I had a video somewhere recently, it's in the top 10, I think, videos, which is asking for your guys' voting and involvement with the 15,000 subscriber giveaway. So if you guys can check that out as well, greatly appreciate it. As always, stay tuned. Roxabox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.